Jaquez Jones, a linebacker from who previously played at Ole Miss. Since you and I last talked recently, committed to Kentucky, and it's a huge pickup for them because it's a position of need for the Cats this year. You know, they lost Jamin Davis, who went, I think, 17th, 19th in the draft to Washington, and they lost Boogie Watson, and then they got two other guys suffering. Derek Jackson's out for the season for injury, and JJ Weaver is recovering from a torn ACL. So it's a guy he's a player who can come in almost immediately once he learns the system and maybe start from day one. His last game with the Rebels was the Gator Bowl. I think he had 14 tackles or something like that in the Gator Bowl, and he was, I think, second leading tackler last year and leading tackler the year before. So it's a huge pickup for Kentucky, as I said, at the position of need. And then another guy that's being talked about is a guy by the name of Dare Rosenthal from LSU. He kind of surprisingly put his name in the portal about a week and a half ago, and Kentucky has been really right there with him. Kentucky and Baylor, I think, are two of the picks, possible landing spots. There was a couple of unconfirmed rumors that he'd already been on UK's campus. He's an offensive lineman, 6'7", like 325, something like that. Just has the kind of size obviously you can't teach. And he was four-star player coming out of high school and played some at LSU, but also had some how should we put this? I guess some off the field problems. Had some couple suspensions, couple other little things for some off the field stuff. He's the kind of guy that if Kentucky were to land him, he could fit right in, with that big blue wall that we've got, that the late John Schlarman started building, at Kentucky. So, those are two guys just right off. Like I said, Jones is going to be a big time, I think a big time player for Kentucky. And then we'll see what happens with Rosenthal. Right. Yeah.
This is a couple good ones that you get in conference here. As you mentioned, Rosenthal, top 300 player coming out of high school, 4-star. As you mentioned, top 25 offensive tackle. And then with Jones at linebacker, my goodness, the last 2 years, he has cleaned up 71 and 75 tackles, gets into the backfield, 7.5 tackles for loss 2 years ago. So a really good player there in a position of need for Kentucky. So we are less than a month. We're more like 3 weeks away from these guys getting on the field to start to compete once again for these positions. Yep. And quarterback is going to be center stage for Kentucky and Kentucky analysts and beat writers to break down as we head through August.
Yeah.
How do you see this thing playing out?
Well, the interesting thing is, I think of course, as you said, they're kind of in that off time right now before they come back at the end of July, when they're getting ready for the season. I believe if the season started today, Will Levis is your quarterback. There was some words that, leaked out from a couple of news sites about 3 weeks ago saying that they had heard that, I haven't heard anything to dispute it. So that Levis right now is is probably going to be the guy with Joey Gatewood as the backup, and then Bo Allen right there behind him. So in a way, it makes sense because new offensive coordinator Liam Cohen, one of his things, he was high on Levis, instrumental in getting him to transfer from Penn State here to Kentucky. So I mean, it makes sense that he might be your guy starting the starting the season. Like I said, obviously he's got to come in. You've got that month of training camp. You've got to learn the system and all that. But like I said, right now he appears to be the leader in the clubhouse. And instead, I'll be excited. Kentucky. As you and I have talked before, nobody got to see spring practice. They didn't have a spring game per se. There was a controlled scrimmage where they let some boosters and I think some high paying ticket holders watch, but we haven't seen them play. All we see is like the highlights that they would send to the media and just what the coaches would say afterwards. So, no one, if you watch for those who don't remember, Liam Cohen was the quarterback's coach and with the offense with the LA Rams. So if you if you watch their offense, yeah, that I like that comment. You watch their offense, you're going to see kind of what we're going to see here at Kentucky, and it's going to be a totally different thing from run left, run right, run up the middle, throw occasionally. I mean, they're still going to run the ball because you got Chris Rodriguez, who I think could lead the SEC in rushing, but we'll see. But they're going to have that more wide open. I think a pro style offense. You think about Wan'Dale Robinson transferring in from Nebraska, Josh Ali coming back for a 6th year or an extra year. So, like I said, Levis appears to be the guy. Now, we'll see what happens in the next month because for anyone who follows Kentucky football, we've learned over the last couple of years you can never have too many quarterbacks. So, like I said, Levis right now, if the season started today, when they play Louisiana Monroe on September 4th, I think Levis is going to be the guy. Now I'll say that, and then something, and then they'll throw somebody else out there just to mess with me. But anyway,
it's just me, Tim79, telling me that we've got too many channels here. I don't know how you can have too many college football channels. We're pumping out tons of content, and I don't have a Kentucky channel yet. So until we have a Kentucky channel, we don't have too many channels.
Yeah, well, it's part of being the voice of college football. I mean, that's your thing. So you should have as many channels as you like, and you even have this certificate or something. I think, wasn't it that states that you're the voice of college football. So,
I will need to display that at some point. We got the certificate in from the U.S. Trademark Department. Yes, the voice of college football.